It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
Love is in the air. Love is in the air. Oh, what's wrong? Why are you holding your breath, buddy? Get up on out of the water. Is that what you're doing? Breathe in the air. Because I know you want some of that love up in your lungs. Get some of those love lungs.
No thanks.
Hard
I
for
don't
me
want
to
love
say.
lungs.
You don't want? You don't
Love
like
lungs sounds like something you would sing about.
love lungs?
You give me love lungs.
I'll make a song about it right now.
Do it.
Love lungs. Every time I breathe the air, I fall in love. 'Cause every time there's always love in the air. I got them love lungs. Love lungs. Love lungs.
I really like that.
Love
Very
lungs.
late 90s R&B feel to it.
Thank you. I fucked up a little bit, but hopefully people don't really notice
Listen
it.
to the original song and know the
Don't
difference.
listen to the original song, Love Lungs.
It's very similar to the song Love Lungs.
It's very similar to the song, actually, Love Hurts. That's where I started off.
Love hurts.
Exactly.
Love wounds.
That song reminds me of The
that
Wedding
70s
Singer.
show? Oh.
But also a
the
good thing for it
musical
to remind you
episode
of.
of that 70s show is what it reminds me of.
Dude, I love that 70s show. I love any sitcom that takes place in a different decade. I think I just like period pieces. I think I like Topher Grace. I think I like Fez.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. My name is Alejandro Grandoso Middleton.
And my name is Christian Paquito Baltazar.
Paquito Taquito?
Paquito Taquito. No, fuck Paquito Taquitos. I want me a Grandioso Taquito. Large taquitos only for this big boy. That sounds
I
suggestive.
was not going to say anything and just let you say that.
I should have gone
out loud.
with taco. Taco is more of like a...
Nope, you said
more in my lane.
Grandito Taquito for you.
Grandito Paquito.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the proprietors and co-hosts of a show that we call It Can't Be That Bad.
Also known as ICBTB podcast.
And what we do is we watch critically condemned films.
Some of you might call them bad.
Some of you might call them bad.
Yeah, but the term bad is very subjective, so we go to something a little more concrete, like what the critics say.
And they're usually wrong. So we're the anti-critics, and what we say to the critics is,
Fuck you.
So we went ahead and watched a movie called Love, Wedding, Repeat.
Say it one more time.
Love, wedding, repeat. One more time. Love, wedding, repeat. Here
One
we
more
go.
time.
Love, wedding, repeat. Here we
Yeah.
go again.
Love,
wedding,
wedding,
repeat. Groundhog Day. Love, wedding, repeat. Oh no mas. Love, wedding, repeat. Here we go again.
Love, wedding, repeat. And if you're still with us after we just chanted that 10
you.
times,
Thank you.
You are a true baddie. Your check is in the mail.
This movie is a brand new movie. It was released April 10th, 2020.
Boom, that is recent as fuck.
It is so recent. It's on Netflix.
So if you are craving a rom-com during these quarantine days,
And this is one of the best rom-coms I've seen in a long time.
it's very unorthodox. It's not your typical cringy rom-com.
It's not a cringy almost at all.
At all?
It's definitely gets some weird points, but I would say this is the only rom-com I've ever seen
Mm-hmm.
that directly deals with the multiverse.
Yes. It's kind of if you were to like mesh Marvel or Spider-Man into a rom-com.
Or like Rick and Morty, where they're just like, what if this one slight difference changed the whole context of time?
Or that Ashton Kutcher film.
His name's Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher gets them Ashton Coochies, you know what I'm saying? Butterfly Effect. And if you mash that movie with, let's say, Crazy Stupid Love, you'd probably get this movie.
What a crazy film a mashup of Butterfly Effect and Crazy Stupid Love would be. Because it would be like Ashton Kutcher doing things as a child that makes him eventually fall in love with Emma Stone.
That would be crazy. Yeah.
And then her dad is Steve Carell.
I think I'd watch that, but I like Ryan Gosling a bit more.
God damn, I love Crazy Stupid Love. Such a great rom-com.
Oh, too bad we're not doing that. We're doing Love, Wedding, Repeat.
Because it's weirdly lowly rated. And I don't know if it's just because it's new or if because people hate British people. God knows I do. The ratings are 5.5.
Whoa. Back up. You can't just say you hate British people. You use this audio platform to say you hate groups of people, and I've stood by for
Everything I say.
too long. No, not stood by everything you say.
Sorry.
I do not condone 90% of the shit that you say.
I disagree.
Agree to disagree?
Okay.
Okay.
It has a rating of 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb, a shocking 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, And Empire Magazine.
Never heard of it.
They deal with like movies and stuff like that. It's a pretty good publication.
Reputable source?
I don't know about that. It's a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Christian, balls are large.
That's me.
What
Got them
percentage
large balls.
of Google users approve of this film?
89%. Way off? Is it in the 80s or is it in the 70s?
You're so off. It almost makes me violently ill.
That means you have a very weak immune system, and I don't know how you're alive right now. Go ahead. What is the real number?
You don't want to guess one more time?
74%.
Wow, you're so wrong. You know what? You shouldn't have guessed the second time. I'm not going to count the second time.
Way to make me feel like shit, dude. You should never be anyone's hype man. I was hoping that with you having you as a co-host, you'd be my Lil Jon to my Usher. You'd be my Ludacris to my fried chicken.
I don't know what the fuck just happened here, but I'm not taking any of that shit. It's a rating of 60% on Google. Here we go, guys. Synapses coming at you.
Right at you.
Alternate versions of the same wedding unfold as Jack tries to make sure his little sister has the perfect wedding day. Very simple. It's great. We can say the basic storyline and then we can go into like the variations of it.
Yeah.
So the basic storyline is Jack is trying to make sure that his sister Haley is having a perfect wedding.
Yeah.
But his problems happen, mostly centering around the fact that she has a romantic fling who shows back up on the wedding day to try and reclaim the love.
Yep.
Not only is he high on cocaine and they're trying to stop him from ruining the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
she uses this really strong sedative that she wants Jack to slip in his drink so that they don't have to worry about it. And that's kind of where the deviations start.
Yep.
The movie has all these different options on people who accidentally drink this sleeping
Which is why
drug.
this film is so unorthodox but works beautifully because it's a concept I haven't seen used on a rom-com ever.
I think you're talking about like the multiverse, like one little decision can change the course of everything.
Exactly.
I think it's really interesting because, like the title suggests, it's love, wedding, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
They do show a couple of different variations of how the story can go. Generally focuses on just 2 ways that the storyline follows.
Yes.
But I would pay money to see how every single storyline progresses through.
I would love for this to, and I know we say this all the time, for this to have been broken down into a mini-series.
Where we get to see every character's
Every outcome.
version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
And for the reason as to why there is a multiverse with this is because all of these various characters that are very well fleshed out, they're seated, 8 of them, seated at this table at a wedding. And their narrator says, how many different ways can 8 individuals be seated at a table? Surprisingly, thousands.
Who plays the narrator?
No, I'm sure.
It sounds like Judi Dench.
Yes, it's probably Dame Judi Dench.
But
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to say it is. Yeah, and it's all based on these kids who are fucking around with the seat number, the seat.
First of all,
titles.
Fuck those kids. Are those kids real? Because it seemed like they just came in, did their thing,
But they were
and then
playing
dipped out.
during the wedding too, though, so they were there earlier.
Yeah, but I get they were a necessary component for this possibility to be real.
This is look. Let's just say it right off the top, so we don't have to keep saying it over and over again. Watch this film. It's great.
Crazy.
We cannot
It's
say
great.
enough about how funny and good this film is.
Guys, Olivia Munn is in this, and if you are a fan of Olivia Munn, she's doing a great job in this.
So her storyline is that her and Jack kind of had a run-in years ago in Italy, and there was this kind of glimmer of a flame there that was quickly put out by an asshole's forcing into the situation.
Yes.
So then that ends it. They kind of go off their own separate ways.
They had basically, to give a little more exposition, they spent a nice little weekend with each other in Rome.
Yeah.
How much more romantic could that get? And during that entire time, they had a connection, but he never kissed her. He finally gets the chance to kiss her, and right before he does, some random dude that he knows from college came through, says, "Hey, I could give you the ride to the airport," because
He's like, right now.
He's going to London for his sister's wedding. And has that ever
No,
happened
he's not
to you?
going to London for. He's just leaving Rome.
That's right. This is
This
3
is way
years
before the
prior.
wedding. Yeah.
The wedding.
So, has that ever happened where I have a really good run-in with somebody and then I have to leave?
Dude, where you kind of just like had that moment where like, I should have done it. I should have kissed the girl. And like something very small happened and it kind of just steered you off course.
Yeah, I think definitely. But I think
To put this into like layman's terms, have you ever been cock blocked so bad
well,
you've thought about it years in advance?
No, I don't think about that because it never happened.
You've
Just
never
kidding.
been cock blocked?
No, I'm usually doing the blocking.
Oh, you're an ass. If you're a cock blocker, get the fuck out of town.
No, I do think the what I think is more similar to my life. God damn it. I'm so afraid to say anything because of the sound clip you cut out of me being like, oh, with the hottest chick. I don't know what you're going to cut out and frame because you
Don't
made
worry,
me look.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that video as is. Folks, if you haven't yet, check out the Girl Next Door episode.
I have had a like really good weekend with somebody and then not seen them for years and then almost completely like forgotten about that kind of connection. And then suddenly I'm faced with this person again, had no idea that I was going to see them again. And then it's kind of like, oh man, yeah, that's right. I do kind of remember these moments and stuff.
I think those are the most beautiful parts about those moments is how unexpected it is.
And you know what? Yeah. And yes. And so because of that experience that I've had in this film, I could kind of see, I think a lot of people have that experience. I don't think it's iconic to me. I don't think I'm special in that way. But I do think that that's one of the ways that I very directly related to this film. And as most people, you see a little bit of yourself in every single character.
Yeah.
But I also saw a lot of my friends in these characters. So generally, you like to break down the movie in who's who, or like who I am and who you are in the film.
Who we identify with.
But I actually have it pretty much broken up in most of our group of friends.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
I'm excited for this.
Generally, you are actually Jack.
I can see that.
Yeah, you
I'm
are
Jack,
actually the romantic who is
for
dead
sure.
set on trying to make something work and doesn't know if this quasi-cosmic moment is ever going to happen again.
Yes.
Because, and this movie proves, it happens all the time. You just got to be ready for your opportunities.
Yes.
I believe the women might be different people, but I think the guys, I'm some sort of amalgamation.
I'll take it. I'll accept it.
Of Chaz and Brian.
Yeah, you're them fusioned together.
Like some of the things that Chaz says, I know I've definitely said in like my relationships, and like the exacerbated look that his girlfriend has, Amanda.
Girlfriend that he wants to be his fiance.
I've seen that look far too many times.
She is so upset because she says a throwaway line about his penis, and he becomes obsessed with this. About Jack's penis. And now Chaz is comparing his penis to Jack's penis.
And then he'll say stuff like, I know, he's like, I've been a solid 7.5 out of 10. I've had other people tell me.
Girls always tell me that.
She's
they
like,
have no problem
who's telling
with
you that? And I've definitely been like, damn, that's fucking hilarious. That's a fucking
It's so funny.
joke.
He says, and he's saying shit like, I know that my dick could be thicker, but at least it's long. And she's like,
it's the wrong kind of British accent.
Dude, I'm
He's
bad
a chav.
at British accents.
Yeah, you're making him say, yeah, he's a chav. He's in that. Hey, bruv.
Okay, you want to try to say that quote in your accent?
No way, bro.
At least I'm brave enough to take that step, my friend.
Yeah, but not doing this for any kind of person.
I sounded nothing like that. Do not try to imitate my accent attempts with other accent attempts.
Look, I just love this film.
It's a great film.
I do want to break down. I took the time.
What's up?
So they don't show us every version.
No.
But they do show us a tiny peek of every version.
It's like 30 seconds.
But I slowed it down and watched every single frame.
That
to
takes a
break
lot
down
of
to you what
commitment, my
happens.
friend.
Yes. So the first storyline we see, which is bonkers, involves Brian. I keep calling him by his actor's name. Brian accidentally drinks the sleeping pill or the sleep medicine.
Yes,
I don't even know what to call
sedative.
it. Sedative. Thank you. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on television.
It's okay.
He drinks a sedative, and that fucks everything up. He can't get through the maid of honor speech. He eats the wedding cake in front of everybody.
He's an aspiring actor trying to get the attention of this infamous director that happens to be at the wedding.
Gross.
He's a gross guy.
And because he took the sedative, Mark, the cokehead, didn't, and he actually took more cocaine and comes out and ruins the wedding by telling everybody over the loudspeaker that he slept with Haley.
Dude, fuck Mark. If there was anyone like that at the wedding,
hang on.
socked him in the face.
If you were Mark,
well, I don't think
Like
I would
if-
ever be Mark.
maybe not with the cocaine, but I could see you being so in love with somebody that you show up on their wedding day.
No, I'm smart. I'm romantically smarter than that. I'm more intact with my emotions than Mark is.
In How I Met Your Mother, they called it the, oh shit, what did they call it? They called it the Dom or something predicament, where it's,
And we're like
if
associated
you're in
with
love-
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, if you're in love with somebody and you do these big acts of love for somebody, it can come off either super creepy, like you're a Dahmer, or it can come off super cool because they also reciprocate the feelings.
Nope. The extent.
If Haley did actually love Mark and he showed up on that day, it would be the most grandiose, beautiful, magic moment of their relationship. That she leaves this unhappy wedding to go with her boyfriend or with this person that she's had deep. That could have been.
But I hate how he does it. He does
it
super
in the
coked
worst
up.
way.
And right
He's
after
so
the
hot.
cake comes out, he runs up to the mic. Haley and I shagged. And then everyone's like,
accent you got
what
right.
the fuck?
That accent you
I
got
did it
right.
pretty good?
Good job.
Thank you.
So then Roberto finds out that they fucked and they go outside and he dies. He accidentally falls off of a bridge. And,
Spoiler alert.
And it freeze frames and it goes, and it pretty much shows like, and he died.
At that point of the film, I'd forgotten that there were other storylines simultaneously building up.
I don't know if we hadn't seen any of the other storylines.
No,
I think
that
at
was
this
the
point I
only
was still
one.
like, what the fuck? And then it goes, but that's not all that can happen. And it rewinds all the way back to the point where the kids are messing with the name tags.
Yes.
And then it shows you different versions of people drinking the potion. May I?
You may.
So the first alternate variation we see is Brian drinks it. Oh wait, no, we see. I'm
That's the
sorry.
first one. Yeah, Brian
You're
drinks
right.
it.
Excuse me, that is the first one. And I'm burping. What the fuck is happening to me?
Imploding.
The fucking autocorrect changed whatever name it was to sailing. So
Sydney.
No, Sydney wasn't the first one. Sydney was later. Maybe it was Sydney. Sydney is also a gentleman who's at the wedding, who's wearing a kilt and is so oblivious to the fact that he can actually get laid from a chick who does like him because he's trying to bang Olivia Munn.
Yes.
That's you.
No,
You're Sydney.
Do not compare me to Sydney.
You would try to get. You would be not
In terms of the Oblivion, yes.
Yes, and the fact that you don't notice when chicks are definitely hitting on you,
Yeah.
all the time, Christian. Do I see women going like out of their way, and it's not your fault. I've said it in the past before. You are just being you, which is a very nice guy, and women
Yes.
take it as you flirting with them, so they start spitting it back at you, and you don't see it.
I don't see
so
it.
you're still doing your nice guy thing, and they see it as you flirting back with them. And
It's a blessing and a curse.
I will sit back and watch you do it, and just laugh to myself
I
because
have a question. When I am oblivious, does it come off as me playing harder to get because I'm so oblivious? Like it does come off that I'm maybe flirting, but since I'm not kind of like sealing the deal by saying
I don't think it's that you're
forward-
playing hard to get. I think it's just that you're a nice person.
Uh-huh.
And it seems like anybody else who's this nice would be going out of their way to be this nice for this person.
That's
But that's
crazy that
just
I
how
come
you are
off
for
that
every
way.
single person because you're a fucking psychopath.
What? No, the trait of niceness is just so absent from today's world that it comes off as flirtation. Continue.
So Sydney drinks the sedative, and we see the old lady, this reoccurring old lady, kick Brian. Also, no, it's not Sydney because in that first cutaway, God damn it, I hate this.
Who is it?
I don't know.
You should have looked at
I
your
did,
phone before
but it
the
said
autocorrect.
sailing. Fucking autocorrect. Because Sydney does coke with Mark at the table.
Really?
In the first cutaway, there's a couple of cuts of Mark like doing little dabs with Kilt Boy. Then it cuts back to the old lady hugging Brian, and then Olivia Munn is super drunk, and the guy who looks like Michael Fassbender, Jack. I kept saying that was Michael Fassbender
Does
in
not
all of
look
my
like
notes.
Michael Fassbender.
Yes, it does.
No, I'll put a side-by-side comparison. up.
He's begging her to stay, and also it looks like Chaz is re-proposing to Amanda in the
Yes,
background.
I
The
remember
second
that.
cutaway is Amanda drinks the sedative. She falls asleep at the table, and instead of everybody being a dick, they just like put like a napkin over her, and she gets to sleep. Meanwhile, Chaz is showing his penis to that same old lady, and we assume that they go off and do their thing, and then we don't really see much more in that moment because Michael Fassbender guy, Jack, gets super drunk and like fireman carries Olivia Munn out of frame. In the third version, Olivia Munn drinks the sedative. She falls asleep at the table. The Irish chick, Aisling, who's your favorite?
Aisling
Bea, who reminds me of a lot of Shannon. The way she acts and some of the things she says reminds me a lot of Shannon.
Super goofy.
And her big Irish head. Aisling starts making out with Jack, which is a funny... I would love to see the story because he hates her. He kind of makes references that he thinks she's really annoying. I would love to see...
the build up to that.
To how they
what
ended
could
up
have
making
happened?
out. Also, the bride is chasing Amanda, Chaz's girlfriend, and they seem to get in some sort of physical altercation. Also, Mark is crying very hard at the table at one point.
And we could probably guess that's because of
Everything that's happening.
Yep.
In the fourth one, Sydney drinks the sedative. And in that one, the old lady is dancing on the table.
I'm so curious as to how these timelines would have played off.
And
If
like
you just watched it.
then that's all we see. Then the fifth option is Mark drinks the sedative, which is what we need to happen. And Sydney and Chaz become best friends in that one where they're drinking and close friends. Olivia Munn does not appreciate the aggressiveness of Jack in this version. And also in the credits, we see a version where Chaz is about to drink the potion and Jack stops him And Chaz is like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like,
'cause he sounds crazy.
And Chaz is my funniest because also in the post credits or in the credit scene, we do see a scene where Jack is walking back into the reception and Chaz is walking very aggressively up to him. And he goes, oh, there he is with his big cock. Go ahead, pull your pants on. Go ahead, pull your pants
Let's
on.
all see it. Let's all see
Jack's
it.
like, excuse me? And he's like, go on, let's see it. And he starts wrestling with him to take his pants off. And I think that's one of the funniest because a lot of this is improv. You can tell a lot of this is like, all right, now your character is going to be at 10 and everyone else is going to be at a 4. And
you know,
it's
there's
just
an archive
so
of
good.
outtakes that they didn't use.
I want
access to
all
that.
of the footage for this film.
This film is so good. Like I said, the characters are so fleshed out, wacky and goofy. So many of these characters I would have punched in real life if they were trying to destroy this wedding because everyone's so selfish.
This is so well written and so clever and funny. I don't know if you're familiar with a play called Noises Off.
I'm familiar.
It's for those of you who don't know, it's a play. It's a 3-act play, and Act 1 takes place during rehearsal the week of opening night of a play.
Yeah.
Act 2 takes place during opening night, but from backstage. So we can see the reverse of the set and we see our actors going on and off stage and we're seeing all of this crazy shit happen off stage where they're getting punched in the head, they're breaking stuff, they're forgetting lines and we're seeing this craziness. And then Act 3 is what the audience saw during all of that craziness on the stage. And I think that's such a crazy witty way to tell a story of us seeing like such silly jokes that are funny in Act 2, then the payoffs of them in Act 3 where we get to see it from the other side, I think is a very funny bit.
You can tell this is a very British comedy.
Yes, and that kind of, I believe even Noises Off is a British play.
It's a comedy of errors. There's just so much misunderstanding, miscommunication, and they could definitely expand on that with the possibility of
exactly
how many different possibilities are there if this drink were to get switched up.
And so my point is that, you know, you see a lot of things get set up.
Yeah.
And then you get to see the different ways that it pays off. And I think that's such a funny way to have us see a setup so far in advance and then the payoff comes later, I think is very fun.
It's so rewarding because right when you see the sedative and when it's poured into a glass, well, one thing I want to break down is like if you're going to try to like put a sedative
so early, yeah.
Do it later when you know where the seating happens.
The fact that he does it like hours before people sit at the table is the dumbest part of the movie. Like there's a lot of dumb decisions. That's the worst.
I have a question. At a wedding, I don't think it's that strict to sit where your name card is.
And that's the other thing. Even me and my mom said it because we watched it. Because me and my mom had turned it on and then we started making dinner one night and we didn't really watch it. But we saw parts of it and we're like, we need to sit down and watch this film.
Yeah.
The second time we came back to watch it was when I texted you and was like, we need to do this film for the podcast. And even we said, is it that big of a deal to just say, hey man, you want to switch seats?
Because if Jack was that in love and was in that much of a pursuit for Olivia Munn, he would have been like, hey, can I sit right there?
Or if Chaz was such a weird, jealous person, he would have like all of it.
Yeah.
But that's not what's funny about that wouldn't make the movie funny.
No, we have to abide by these rules.
I do think though that I cannot give the quickness and the dryness and the wittiness, I guess that's just British comedy of it, enough credit. This film is insanely funny. And I wonder if the reason why it gets such low ratings from the people here is because maybe they don't get that British humor yet.
So, yeah, I wonder what British critics are saying about this film. And there's a way to find that, but it's okay.
But we won't look.
We'll check out later.
Because the BBC is a sham network, guys.
I'm not going to back up anything that you say when it comes to shit like that.
It stands for Big, Bad, Confidential Lies.
Nope, you've seen too much porn, and I know exactly what was going on in your mind before you fleshed out that acronym.
I didn't think about it at all until I started talking.
Did you
and
not?
I was like, I need to change directions.
I used to think like on the hub, if I saw BBC, it was like, oh, this is like a British
it can mean BBC and BBW get very confusing sometimes.
I used to get mixed up with BBW and BMW.
Pog is also a confusing one that came up recently.
Because those are like 90s toys,
Pog,
right?
well, PAWG on porn sites. Pretty ass white girl.
I thought it was...
is that what it stands for, or did I make that up?
I hope you made that up. And
what did you think it stood for?
Well, I don't know. I thought it was like a typo of dog, D-A-W-G.
You
like,
never
what's
seen
up,
that on
dog?
like porn thumbnails?
No,
Pog?
I have, but like I never really just... Acronyms don't pull me in. It's just...
That's all. I only watch porn if it's got a good acronym.
That's it?
I don't even care who's acting in it, honestly. But you know what I do care about?
What?
This movie.
This
Love,
movie is
Wedding,
great.
Repeat. Or what's it?
Love, Wedding, Repeat.
I said it right.
You got it right.
We went to a wedding.
Yes.
And I had a little bit to drink that night.
You had a lot of bit to drink. We picked you up. You were already 3 drinks in, dude.
That was, I kind of, blame you on that
No, do
because
not
you were
blame-
late. Because you were late. You thrice texted me because I had a drink while I was getting ready. Not a crazy thing. I had another one that I was gonna have while you came to get me. While I was drinking that one is when you told me you were running late. So I thought to myself, well, I'll have another one. In that time that you were still running late, I had 2 more.
You know, at that point, you should have just driven yourself if you're going to
No
blame me for
way!
how many drinks you're going to have.
That's a ridiculous thing. You want me to drink and drive and potentially kill somebody, Christian?
No, I think you
want
should
that
just
blood on your
drive
hands?
and then just
you would have that
abstain
blood on
from
your
it.
hands.
No, do
Blood
not say
on
that.
your hands.
No,
Just
no.
like when Haley killed her husband.
Oh my gosh. Do not cut me off, call me a murderer, and then just go straight into the movie and paint me to be this bad
Anyways,
person.
my point was I didn't bring this up for you to try and deflect who's responsible for me killing people while drunk behind the wheel. It's always your fault.
Jesus Christ.
My point is,
You were a lot to handle that night.
I was
You were
fine.
all over the
Everyone
place.
had a good time.
We kept losing you. You were like the
I
guy
didn't
from
need to be
Hangover.
found. I didn't need to be found. I was behaving myself. I was.
You were behaving yourself for the most part, but still, we were just worried. Like, I hope Alex is okay because
Doesn't
we know
die.
you had a lot to drink.
Not enough for you to. This is horrible. Not enough for you to worry that I'm going to die.
Of course, no, I don't think you're gonna die, but I feel like you could just be like super drunk somewhere, and I
Dead?
felt responsible for you. Yeah,
You did get me home, and I do appreciate that.
Gotcha.
Wait.
You didn't go home. You
I was
went
going
to
to
a
say, like, you
motel,
didn't
dude.
take me home. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You didn't drop me off at home. Anyways,
Anyway,
I do love weddings. Weddings are always fun. I think they're a great time. This room is getting really hot. I'm about to take my pants off.
please don't take your pants off. It's not summer
It's been a
quite yet.
long time since I've recorded without my pants on, and today might be the day.
No, can we postpone that until at least the summer season comes along? I'm tired of having a naked Alex in my room.
You haven't had a naked Alex in your room in a long time.
but more frequently than not.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say.
That's not true.
But more
Look, I know I'm your life partner and everything, Christian,
Stop
but
calling
that's
me
not
your life
at all
partner.
what
I'm not your life partner.
Yes, you are.
We're best friends. That's
You're
all.
my life partner.
When you tell people that we're life partners, they get the wrong idea.
That we're partners.
And then
for
they
life.
see I have a girlfriend and they think I'm polygamous. Like, oh, he's slanging it with that Filipino chick and with his best friend.
Look, I don't know anybody who's a polygamist, but I'm sure they're good people.
It's fine. I'm just saying that I'm not.
A good person?
I hate. You are so manipulative. You know
I
that?
am not.
You
It's
are
supposed to be called
taking
symbiosis.
your words. No, stop. Let's talk
I'm
about
so
this movie.
symbiositive.
You don't even say the word right, dude. Take an English class, fool.
No.
No, I'm foreign. Brian. I want to talk about Brian because he is half of you, I would say.
Yeah, I do. If he did magic, he would be all of me.
I like how he goes to get a haircut maybe half an hour
That's
before the
you.
wedding starts.
That's you.
I wouldn't do that.
No, but doing something. Okay, but doing something right before a big event because you made a prior commitment is very you. Maybe not a haircut, but you'd be like, "Hey guys, I'll be right back. I just got to go help so and so's grandma across the street because I promised I'd do it 3 weeks ago, and I got to do it right now. I'll be right back." And then you
Weird
leave,
example.
and then you're late, and because yes, look at the way you react.
If a grandma needs to be helped with crossing the street, I'm there.
See, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You know that you because you're such a nice guy and you have such a tough time saying no to people. You commit yourself to so many things, and I've been on the receiving end where
Yep.
you've sacrificed things for me because you're doing a nice thing for somebody else, and I think it's bullshit. Because you're doing a nice thing for somebody else, I'm not allowed to get mad at you for doing it. But you know
Yep.
what? Fuck that. I'm still mad
It's
at
a
you
barrier.
because now I'm becoming a second-rate citizen to who?
Yep.
To who? Some jabroni's
Yep.
grandma?
Yep. And the thing is, it's easy to
I'm
get
getting
mad at
very
you.
hot.
It's easy to get mad at you. Stop it. Don't look me in the eyes. You take your pants
My
off.
sunglasses on. You don't know where my eyes
It looks
are.
like you're shitting. It looks like you're pooping. Your pants are around your ankles. You juvenile.
hot.
You're one of those peers when you're at a urinal. You have it around your ankles.
Of
You
course.
have the pants
Take
around
a
your
look at my
ankles.
glutes. I work hard on them. Explain to me how you think it's okay to blow me off because you're doing a nice thing for somebody else. Because by doing that,
I
you're
don't
doing
think
an
I'm
asshole thing to
blowing
me.
you off. No, this is because.
When does the niceties come back to me, Christian?
Let me break this down for you. You think that I'm doing nice things on purpose so I have an excuse to blow people off. Nope, not blowing anyone
I think
off.
it happens that way.
Because I'm doing nice things for people and I don't blow them off. I'm just kind of late sometimes. At least when I'm late, I have an excuse. Sometimes with
That's
you.
not any better.
What?
Having an excuse because you're late does not make being late okay.
What? So you being late and just being like, I have no excuse.
At least that's all. But that wouldn't be the end of my sentence.
Okay, then finish that sentence for me.
I don't know why I'm late because I'm never late. I'm always early.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Sometimes. You have to think about it.
Sometimes. One in 8 times I'm late.
Why are you getting on me right now? We're talking about
You
the
are
movie.
more like 1 in 4 times you're late.
Okay, one thing I want to pick out from this whole debacle that we just had is that, yes, I can be too nice. I'm very much like Jack,
Okay.
where he puts other people first.
Yeah, yes.
Like
Jack
won't
needs to stand up to
he won't
Haley.
grab the opportunity. There's a quote here that really moved me when it was Olivia Munn in the I forget what time in the last timeline, the timeline that we see to the end, where she's leaving because of work, and she
does
gets
that in
drunk.
both.
And she's had like 16, but the one where she gets drunk and she's very late. She has like 16 missed calls. He chases after her outside, and he says like, "Hey, do you think we had a connection, or am I just being crazy?" And she says, "Yes, but I think we just had our moment, but we missed it." And I'm like, wow, that's a powerful line, because
That is very deep.
Makes all of us think about, like, are there opportunities out there? Are there moments in life that we've missed?
Oh, for sure. And I think for a lot, I know for a fact that there are times where you have to think about the moment that you're in and really take a step back and remove yourself and understand that some things aren't meant to last forever.
Yeah.
And some things are very fleeting. And I think what helps people get through that moment is understanding that life is bigger than the 10 minutes that we're living in this current moment. And one thing that I really was semi-attracted to and really appreciative that Olivia Munn expressed in this movie is that understanding that, hey, you know, we had a moment, we thought it was never going to happen again, that spark was potentially there, but here we are, we do have a second chance here now, and we can try, we can either give that opportunity its due diligence, or we can just say, hey, you know what, that's the end of it, and that's what happened, and they sit back and wonder all their lives. But what they can proudly look back on is say that they attempted to see and made the most of that moment, and that's something that I myself have done, and I want to continue to live my life in that moment where I can look back and not just look at the 10-minute moment that I'm in, but understand that, if we're using a time metaphor, look at the hour that I'm in and understand that it is fleeting, and not hate it for the fact that it's fleeting, but also not be tied to it and love to it because it's going to be gone.
You have to look at the bigger picture of things. I myself, I do get stressed out. I know that having options is a luxury, but when I have options, I freak the fuck out internally.
Totally. I think that's a very unexpressed problem that a lot of people have, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
It's everything from as simple as, what am I supposed to watch on Netflix? Because you've now given me so much option that I have zero option.
Yeah.
And it comes down to our lives too. It comes down to this idea of where we don't know what step it can be. Because I think for myself, I can see moments in my life where I can see the fork in the road. And I don't know where the roads lead, and I don't know what directions are, but I do understand that this is a pivotal moment. And this is the moment where I have to make the decision.
That's the beauty. If life was too expected, then there's no fucking point. Life is supposed to be wild. Time itself and these forks in the road are supposed to be high stakes because, I mean, that's how you get the thrill of life.
And I think you have to, one of the things that I think I think one of the things that I think is very prevalent in this film is that idea of, once you make a decision or some decision is made, in the sense it's who drinks a sedative,
yes,
you have to be okay with what comes of it.
Yeah.
I think in the first version, when Olivia Munn and him don't actually end up together because
he's really focused on trying to get Mark out of the wedding because he cares so much for his sister.
On what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And he loses Olivia Munn in that moment, and she ends up quasi going with the movie guy.
Yeah.
But it's just little decisions have big ramifications. It's that butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that in this movie?
Yeah, we brought up the butterfly effect. I mean, it's a through line of this entire episode. I mean, because it's the fork in the road. Yeah, one thing I really liked about how they were kind of building up to that last timeline that we actually see to completion is the narrator says there's just, out of thousands of possibilities of how 8 people could be seated at a table, there is that one very rare chance that the right seating happens. And that's what we see. We see Brian and Aisling Bea, they get together. Even though you can tell Brian kind of dislikes her, I would say despises who Aisling Bea is. They have a moment where they're on the couch and she says...
They do have, yeah.
And there's that was beautiful.
That was a really nice moment, yes. And I do want to say, I don't think he necessarily despises her. I think he doesn't understand her. And
I think no one understands her.
Of course, yeah.
She was one of my favorite characters because she was so quirky.
Do you remember what her first line is?
She's talking about Penne.
She's like, I always thought penne was Italian for penis, but I found out that it's actually just Italian for penne.
And it's so funny. You see how ditzy and clueless she is? Chaz comes out with Amanda.
Oh, and she's like, "Oh, is this your new boyfriend? I'm glad you got rid of that last one. What was his name? Chaz." And he's like, "My name's Chaz." And he's like, "Wow, are you dating 2 Chazes in a row?"
So funny. She's so ditzy.
That is a very, and I'm sorry, Shannon, if you're listening. That's a very Shannon thing to do. She like not necessarily stupid, but just this like oblivious to like, oh, that's funny, like because your last boyfriend's name was Chaz, and be like,
I like how Aisling Bea was making fun of Chaz's $3,000 suit that made him look like a magician. And I'm sure you kind of identified with that.
And before she even said that, I even told my mom, I go, "I like that suit." And then the next line was like, "You look like a 9-year-old magician."
Oh my gosh. And you were like, "I would love to look like a 9-year-old magician."
That is a nice suit though.
I know you like those multicolored blazers where the
that's not really, I think
lapel is a different color.
Not even necessarily that makes me like it. It's the cut and the 3-piece of it. It's a 3-piece suit.
He spent $3,000. It better look good because I thought it looked good too.
He spent 3,000 pounds,
which British. Is higher to the dollar.
So that's probably like 5,000 American dollars.
Super high. I mean, so it better look kind of good. But too bad he was kind of like a shitty, insecure guy.
Well, maybe, but in the last storyline, we do see him become more of a confident man. He didn't become a man. He's always been a man. Don't be a dick like that.
Yeah,
he becomes
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Confident man. And that was something that like I said, I do identify with a lot of things that Chaz does because I am, shocker,
stubborn.
Not what I was going to say.
Insecure?
Stop it.
Stocky?
No, I was going to say.
Blanket the insecurity?
Enough. Jesus Christ. Yes, all of those things. But also, I do get jealous fairly easily. And in my older age, I have been trying to like really...
I don't like seeing jealous Alex. Have
you seen jealous Alex?
Yeah, dude. You have this... your brow turns in, like, gets very furrowed. And you're just kind of like overthinking. I've seen it. And you're pacing back and forth, and you ask me for advice, and all the advice I give you,
listening to what you're saying.
You're like, "Yeah, I should do that. You're right, I should do that." Next time I hit you up, you're like, "Hey, did you do that?" And you're like, "No, I didn't do it." And I'm like, "Well, what's the point of me telling you what to do?" Don't seek advice if it means nothing, dude.
Anyways,
sorry to break that down.
To see that he understood that he has self-worth.
I love it because he walks up to Amanda, who this entire time he's been egging to become his fiance, and he says,
almost bullying her into it.
Yeah. And he says,
but because she's kind of a bully back to him too. It's a very rough. It's
super unhealthy. From the get, you can see that they shouldn't be together.
Yeah.
You can see that she still has feelings for Jack. She is Jack's ex.
Yep.
She is so emotionally attached to Jack still that when in the first timeline she finds out that Jack had thrown that he hates her still, which isn't true. He just says that.
Well, he did say it.
At the end of the relationship, it was semantics. It was miscommunication. Is what
you always blame it on semantics. But the words that he said were exactly, "I hate her."
Yeah. Well, she brings that up and she ends up headbutting his face.
Which
happens when he's trying to say bye to Olivia Munn. And she's like, I gotta go for work.
To work.
Dude, if I saw someone with a bloody nose, I'd put work on hold for a quick second, make sure that person's nose wasn't broken, and be like, call me?
No.
Olivia Munn is a charmer in this one. I like the bit where she is spilling her... Oh my gosh, there's still so much to talk about. First of all, in one of the timelines, in the last timeline, she sees that Jack takes the sedative, so Jack goes to the bathroom with Brian.
Oh my God! No, Jack goes to the bathroom by himself to throw up, and Brian, being a good best friend, notices something's wrong and goes in with him. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And he's like, "I need." He sees him trying to throw up. He's got his fingers down his throat. He's like, "I can't do." He's like, "I need your help." He's like, "I took a sedative. I need you to help me throw up." And Brian's like, "Oh, I don't want to do this." He's like, "Please, you got long fingers. You can make it work." This is a very
21 Jump Street thing to do.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's almost the exact same joke, except I think it was funnier in this one.
I was fine with it happening here.
I think it's a very Christian Alex thing. I think I could see it being both characters. We could be either or, where we would...
I don't know if I'd ask you to put your fingers down my throat.
Are you looking at my balls?
No, I'm looking at your fingers, dude.
Oh.
I'm looking at how long and gangly they are, and if I'd want those down my throat.
I could totally get to your vulva.
I know it's a possibility, but I wouldn't want that. I could make myself throw up very easily. I've done it before.
Can you make yourself throw up without touching yourself?
No, I need the fingers in my...
I used to know a guy who could just make himself throw up on command.
That's a weird party trick.
It is weird.
Hey, you guys want to see me vomit real quick?
He proved it to me in 7th grade science class.
That's a weird thing to do. That's not something you should put under special skills on your resume.
He got out of school for the day.
For throwing up?
Yeah, they're like, we should send you home. He's like,
Can't
yeah,
you just
probably.
tell a teacher that you don't feel good? You don't have to throw up.
You have to.
That's
Listen,
going
kids,
overboard.
if you want to get out of school, throw up.
Don't tell kids to throw up on this show, man. That's a bad thing to condone.
Don't do it if you're trying to get skinny. That's not how it works.
You're going to get acid reflux. You're going to burn the insides of your throat and esophagus. That's not healthy.
No, definitely not. I can't even act like I can't take the other side of that one.
Anyway, when they're in the middle of Brian sticking his fingers down Jack's throat,
Olivia Munn walks in.
and she's so startled at this.
She's like, well, I was just seeing if everything's okay. And
She does like a triple take. Like, girl, get out of there. You saw what happened.
the best part is, as they're like trying to like play it off, Brian just goes to start washing his hands. He like immediately
Moves
turns onto the sink to go wash his hands, and then they go to the table, and he's able to talk his way out of it with
Jack
Olivia Munn.
is, yeah.
Jack is. Do you think you would be smooth enough to talk about it? I think I could be able to talk my way out of that.
Not that.
I do. And
Not
because he
that.
does it in a very smart way where he's like, you know what? This is a really funny story. He's like, I don't want to tell it to you right now, but it is a really funny story. I would have gone ahead and told that story right now because
I would have.
He could have had the same effect by breaking the tension and just explaining to her what's going on.
It would have been a funny enough story to kind of break that ice, for sure.
Because if you would have explained to her that he took the sedative when he fell asleep while she was talking, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Yeah, I would have just pulled her to the side and been like, okay, this is gonna sound wild, but that guy right there, coked out of his mind, he's trying to ruin the wedding, tried to slip a sedative in his drink, so on and so forth. And hopefully she would have been just charmed by my clumsiness, that she would have liked me and it would have been okay.
You couldn't phrase it like that, though, because it sounds like you're trying to poison somebody. You have to say, I accidentally took a sedative.
Well, you have to tell her why there was even a sedative present.
Nope.
What? No.
Because apparently she just accepts any kind of explanation. You could just be like, hey, somehow I took a sedative and it's going to fuck me up in an hour. And then...
she was ready to be like, okay, let's continue from where we left off. My mom died because of this.
Terminal cancer.
Terminal cancer is not a joke.
Rough.
But he starts yawning at it because he took the sedative.
He straight up falls asleep. She's like, is my mother's death boring you? My mother's terminal cancer, is it boring you? And like, just watching it, I was like,
oh, that's a sticky situation. I wouldn't know how to get out of that one.
Christian.
Hi.
Would you know how to pick a best person on set award?
In this movie, it is extremely difficult. I don't have necessarily a system quite yet. I just go with my gut feeling. I'm going to have to give it to Aisling Bea.
Okay, why?
Because she stood out to me, and naturally I was gravitated toward her because she stuck out like a sore thumb in the best way possible. She was playing that a character like that who is goofy and ditzy could easily just be played very hack and very cheesy and very cringy, but she was so adorable and so funny and very quick.
Yeah, that character could be easily played hack. The ditzy friend, the third wheel, is easy to make silly. But when it's done well, it's
It
done
can
well.
work. How about you?
My best person on set award is Dean Craig. He is the writer, or the screenplay writer, and the director.
Beautiful.
This movie is based on, I think, an Italian movie. Might be French. I couldn't tell by the title. But I think it's very funny. I think the translation to it is a very funny. I can't wait for the American version. Like,
Yeah.
I
could imagine this, like what they did with The Office and Death at a Funeral, where they just took
Exactly.
it, copy and paste into American
Yep.
humor.
I think it could be one of
It'd be
those
good.
one of those comedies.
It'd be good.
Or maybe they won't because it's on Netflix and everybody gets to see it. But
That's right.
This is a great movie, guys. I highly recommend it. In my scale,
Yep.
it can be that great.
Wow.
6 out of 5.
6 out of 5.
It can be that great. This is one of the best rom-coms I've seen in a long time. Maybe top 10 of my rom-coms in history.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
That is saying a lot. On the ICBTB scale, I'm going to have to abide by the rules and not break the barrier or restrictions. I'm going to go with the 5 out of 5. It can be that good. It's a really good one. I'm happy that you recommended this film, buddy.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I do want to give an honorary mention to Brian, played by
Joel Fry.
He's great. Usually, and that's another character that's hard to play. For a majority of the film, he plays sleepy because he's the first person to take the sedative.
In the first half.
And he's really funny doing it.
His maid of honor speech is Hilarious.
Or he thinks he's in a dream.
Wow, these people looking at me. He's just like muttering into the
This
mic.
is getting weirder and weirder. Vitelli, who's the director.
He's put me in a movie here.
Put me in a movie, you bastard. Some shit like that.
Have you seen the movie Yesterday?
No, I've not.
He is in Yesterday, and
He's the friend, right?
He's really good in that.
Gosh,
film as well.
gotta watch it.
Yeah, and not what you would expect, not the twist you expect it to take. Actually,
I know it seems like it'd be a predictable plot line, but
it's kind of a predictable plotline. It's just not the predictable plotline you think it is.
cool. I want to check it out. I think
It's on HBO Plus.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Go.
Yeah, watch. You say HBO Plus?
I don't know. What
There's
they're
no
called.
such thing that exists.
It's on Disney Max.
It's on HBO. I think that's all.
It's on ABC News.
Anyway, my name is Christian.
And my name is Alejandro.
And you can follow the podcast at ICBTB Podcast.
You can send us an email, and you can join our friends because they all take a look at our website. It's icbtb.com.
That's a weird thing to request. You can join our friends.
Yeah, join our friends list, guys. That's actually not a weird thing to ask. You can be friends with us on Facebook.
Yeah, follow all of our socials, rate and review, subscribe, follow everywhere you listen.
Also, if you have a fear of gerbils,
Stop.
don't
more
be afraid of gerbils.
You can't bring up gerbils anymore.
Oh, ever?
No, ever. See you guys. Bye.
Ever?